Welcome to today's module. In today's module, we're going to be revisiting the book, The Most Magnificent Thing by Ashley Spires. In this book today, we're going to use our magnifying glass to do a close reading where we look really closely at the pictures. Remember, this is a book that we read last week, so we're rereading it today, but only reading page 1 through 6. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that we can go ahead and learn about what our learning targets are today and what we're planning on doing today. So here we go. We're going to go into Seesaw. Thank you for being patient with me as we go into Seesaw, and we have 2 targets for today. The first target is I can look closely, there's my magnifying glass, at the illustration and text to describe how the girl begins to make her most magnificent thing. So we're going to think about what she does to begin to make her most magnificent thing. And then secondly, the second target is I can answer questions about key details from the book, The Most Magnificent Thing. So again, today we're rereading the book, but only pages 1 to 6. We're going to look really closely at the book and reread pages 1 through 6. So if I look here at this anchor chart, in red, it says, closed readers do these things. This is the anchor chart, meaning what do people do that do closed reading? The first thing they do is they look closely at the pictures. So we're going to study the pictures and try to figure out what's going on. The second item that closed readers do, or the second thing that closed readers do, is they reread important details or parts of the text. So that is what we're doing today. Last week we read the whole book a couple times. Now we're just going to reread important parts of the text. We're going to listen with our ears and our eyes, our heart and our brain, carefully to the words. And then finally, we're going to answer questions about the words and pictures. Now remember, in the book, The Most Magnificent Thing, the girl showed some habits of character. And we've studied 2 of them really closely this week and last week. Do you know what those 2 habits of character are that we looked at both last week and this week? If you said initiative and collaboration, you were completely correct. The girl shows initiative, collaboration, and then I also want to add the word perseverance because we also talked a little bit about that, but we haven't read about that. Remember, the definition of something that is magnificent is something that is beautiful to look at. It is spectacular. Say the word magnificent. I know you guys like that word with me. 1, 2, 3. Magnificent. I'm going to go on to our next slide. And in our next slide, actually, we're not going to go there yet. First, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to read those 6 pages together. So again, the book is called The Most Magnificent Thing, and it's by Ashley Spires. If we look at the cover, and we look closely, at the cover, we know that this book is probably about a girl, correct? Her dog. And by looking at all this stuff in her wagon, we can assume that she either likes to collect garbage or she likes to recycle, or because it's called The Most Magnificent Thing, I wonder if she can put all these things together to make something that is truly magnificent. So here we go. Let's begin on page number 1. Please follow along with me as I read. This is a regular girl and her best friend in the whole wide world. They do all kinds of things together. They race, they eat, they explore, and they relax. Boy, I've seen some videos of you guys with your pets, and I know that you guys like to do these kind of things with your dog. So they do all kinds of things together. She makes things. He unmakes things. One day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She is going to make the most magnificent thing. What is she deciding to do? She's deciding to make the most magnificent thing. And you can see here she's talking to her little buddy saying, hey, Let's make something magnificent together. I wonder if he's a good helper if he unfixes things. She knows just how it will look. She knows just how it will work. All she has to do is make it, and she makes things all the time. Easy peasy. So if we look at these two pictures, what do you think the girl's doing? If you said she is drawing or making a plan or brainstorming or a sketch, you are correct. If you look closely there, she has all these little strange images, maybe some wheels, some kind of rectangular box. A T? As we've read the book, we know those might be something else. And she's looking here like she's feeling what? Look at her body language. Her hands are on her hips. She's got a little smile. Her eyes are wide. She's looking like she has a plan, and she's looking pretty proud and pretty excited. First, she hires an assistant. Who is her assistant going to be? Remember, an assistant is someone who helps. It's a helper. So if you look at that picture, the picture clue, if I look closely, is this picture of her doggy. So I know her doggy is going to be her helper. We're going to stop right there, and we're going to go to an anchor chart that's all about habits of character. If I look at page number 2, the picture on page 2, it says, what does the girl do? What does she do? What the girl does. And what the girl does is she decides to make something. Well, just like in the movie we watched yesterday, when the boy decided to go up to the new neighbor and ask him if he wanted to play, the girl is showing something called, think of the habit of character, initiative. Correct. She decides what needs to be done, and she does it. What is she going to make? Well, in the book, she decided, if I look back on that page, it says one day the girl has a wonderful idea. She's going to make the most magnificent thing. So we know she's going to make something really spectacular, really cool. So she shows initiative on the page 2. And then on page 4, she hires someone to work with her. That is a habit of character that we discussed last week. A lot of you talked about how you worked with a friend or how you helped your mom or dad to cook. When you do that, what habit of character are you showing? Correct. Again, you guys are amazing. She is collaborating. She is showing collaboration. She is working nicely with her pet dog. Working nicely with others is collaboration to get the job done. And who is her helper? Who is her assistant? Correct. You guys said her assistant is her puppy. Very good. When we look at this last slide, this is your writing assignment for today. If you look up at the pencil, it says, draw something that you think is magnificent. Draw something that you think is magnificent, and then write why it is magnificent. If you're in kindergarten, you're going to draw and record. Whenever we record, remember I like to add these little arrows to remind you what to tap on. So if you are in kindergarten, you are going to go ahead and, if it wants to work for me today, you are going to go ahead and use the microphone to record. And of course, if you want to be challenged, because a lot of times you guys do, you can go ahead and label it magnificent, or you could go ahead and write a sentence about why you think it is magnificent. Now, if you're in first grade, you are expected to both draw and write. Remember to use a capital letter and a period. I really want you to take your time and make something that is truly magnificent. On Friday, as you guys know, I had the extra optional Zoom meeting, and I made something truly magnificent. I'm pretty proud of it. So this could potentially be my drawing. The kids that joined me were pretty impressed with my tree I made. So why I think this is magnificent, if you look closely, you can see the details in the leaves and all the fall colors. I learned from the video when you make a tree that you should add little squiggly marks to make it look real and some shading. And then I even put a little squirrel peeking out of the hole. I think my picture is truly magnificent when I added a pumpkin because of the beautiful colors and how realistic the tree looks. So all in all, today we had 2 targets. The first target was to ask and answer questions about key details in the book, The Most Magnificent Thing. The second target was to look more closely at the book, to try to reread it, to really look at the pictures and try to find some hidden details. So 2 targets today, and I'm going to double check those. Oops, excuse me. I'm going to double check those targets because I feel like I'm a little bit off on them, but I want to read them word for word like it was on our screen. So if I go back to our targets, look closely at the illustrations and text to describe how the girl begins to make her magnificent thing, which we did. She hired an assistant, remember? And she also took initiative and decided what needed to be done. And then secondly, I can ask and answer questions about key details from the book, The Most Magnificent Thing. Remember, today you will submit your response about what something is that you've drawn that is magnificent and tell me why you think it's magnificent. And then I will meet kindergarten at 9:45 for you to share your work, and I will meet first grade at 10 o'clock for you to share your work. Thank you so much for joining me today during our module lesson. I can't wait to see what you've created that is magnificent. Have a wonderful, wonderful morning, and I'll see you at 9:45 or 10 o'clock. Virtual hug, heart out. Bye, guys.